Hi everyone. This was originally scheduled for Friday night at 9 p.m. But it turns out it looks like I'm not going to be here. So, rather than be a no-show, I'd rather publish this early, and those of you who stop by around 9 o'clock that come in this Friday will find this video broadcast was made in advance. I apologize, but some things have come up, and I want to make sure that I make good on my promises, so at least when I get this done. Um, so, with that said, you all will find this at a later date. And by the way, my channel really truly is now being shadow banned. I've learned that basically, including on Facebook, my page and the group, we have a group on Facebook. And out of a total of about, between Facebook and YouTube, almost 14,000 people. That's a lot of people who are interested in watching and, people playing with magnets and seeing what's possible. I mean, that's a lot of people for just, you know, somebody playing with magnets. And yet, less than 3% of all those people ever see these videos. That YouTube and Facebook no longer sends these out to to their feeds. So unless they actually come over here to the group or they actually come over here to my channel, most of you all will never ever see this video. So this video serves as a matter of record. I'll just simply set up another channel where hopefully it doesn't get shadow banned too quickly. By that point in time, it really probably won't make any difference anyway, because I'll long since be done with all of this. Okay, let me move on here. It's starting to get late at night, and I'm really tired, but I want to make this happen. Okay, so what I did in the past is I made a video where I disassemble one of my stators. And apparently that wasn't good enough for a lot of people, and I can understand that. So since then, I've also made improvements. So I like to think this works better. Also, about 6, 7 years ago, I posted a video of my wheel, vertical, that was showing it working. However, the very first video, that was the second video. The first video I made was an accidental video where I just wanted to make a video of my cats playing with the wheel. Well, I went ahead and spun it. I just finished assembling, putting it together. And so I gave it a good little spin, and then I went downstairs to make myself some tea. I came back 20, maybe 30 minutes later, could be longer. And so I finally came back up, and the wheel was still running. And when I got back up, my big cat, Sky, he's a big flame point Himalayan cat, started to take interest in the wheel. And in that video, which I actually have a copy of, but I don't have a copy of the other video I made later, right after that, due to a hard drive crash. And YouTube took it down after 2.5 million views. I think what happened to that video is I think people just flagged it. They thought it was fake. And so I put it back up, and under 2 weeks, it got flagged again, and it got taken back down. In fact, my whole account got closed because a lot of people thought it was fake. Nothing in my videos are fake. So anyway, so I came back upstairs, and what happened is that the wheel was still running, and I just figured, well, it's this momentum still, or inertia still in the wheel. So, but in the video, you can clearly see Sky the cat is starting to play with the wheel. And when he first initially puts his paws on it, the wheel does not slow down one single iota, not at all. And then he starts to put more force in the wheel, and even then it doesn't really slow down that much. But eventually he really starts putting a lot of pressure on the wheel, and he eventually brings it to an end. So I went, wow, this might actually work. So I made some modifications to it, made another video and put that up. The rest is history. I lost my channel because of it. So without further ado, I'm going to put all this back together again. For right now, I want to show you how my stators work, how to assemble them. A lot of people don't seem to understand, and sometimes maybe I assume too much. That even though things are simple to me, they're not simple to other people. So I apologize if I'm presumptuous in the way I've made some of my videos. Okay, so not to drag, and I'm tired, I want to keep moving along here. What you want to do here, just get yourself a piece of tin flashing. Or get yourself a VCR that's no good or you don't care, and take the darn thing apart and get this really awesome mu metal. I believe this is mu metal. I don't believe this pure, but it's probably a high percentage of mu metal in it, and or mu, and this stuff kicks butt. I mean, this stuff works really, really good. But I'm not going to cut this tonight. I'll wait till I do very precision cutting because I'm only going to get so many pieces out of this. I made a video and put it up on YouTube the other night on how well this works. Just go over and watch it. Okay, so this is how this is done. What you're going to do here is you want to cut whatever metal of your choice. And by the way, a guy told me you can probably get, or he said you can get that mu metal, sheets of it over at magnet4less.com. That's the numeral 4. He said they have it over there. So I'm going to buy some, and we'll see how much better that works. He suspects that the sheets of metal that I have, that I got out of the VCR, may not be a high grade of mu metal. He's probably right. Okay, so with that said, what you want to do is cut a sheet of this out. That's 4 inches long by 3.5 inches across. Then what you're going to do, I've already got a piece here, I've already cut it out. Then you want to take and draw lines on it where your magnet's going to be. Okay? So let me adjust this a little bit here. Okay. So what you want to do here is make it so that if you cut this out, I'll show you the piece I already did right here. I cut it out where the magnet's going to be. Right there. There we go. Okay? And that allows us, by scoring it, and for those of you who don't know what scoring is, that's when you take this here and you take it, put it in there. I don't know if you can be able to see this very well. I'll try this here. Maybe not. But anyway, you take a hammer and you bang the top of this, and then it makes a crease in the metal right here that makes it real easy to bend the stuff. Okay? So you want to be able to bend this into a box real easily. Okay? So scoring it and putting creases in it makes it a real easy job. Okay, so here's one I've already done. And so what's next is that you have to cut, which you didn't see here because I've already done it. But what you do here, after you score where the magnet, and you have to account for spacing, 1/4 of an inch space around the magnet, because you need to put in spacers. Once you get all that figured out, you're going to take tin snips, and you're going to cut this here, and here, and here, and then one last cut over here. Okay? And this cut, what it does is it now allows us to fold up the corners the way we need it. See? It allows us to fold this up. Okay. So, let's do this here. Now, this is the end. Okay, there we go. And then this is the sides. So fold up the sides. It's a little easier to do when you have some pliers. That way you get nice clean corners. So let's bend that up. Let's see, get a little bit better light on this here. Maybe that'll work. Okay. And then bend that up. Okay. See how this is turning into a box? Okay, and then you take your corners here that, because we cut it the way we did, we can just fold that over here, fold those ends over here and here. And as you see, now I have a metal box. But I've got to fess up. I inadvertently used the wrong dimensions when measuring this out. So, this is the wrong size. But I made another one here earlier this evening that is the right size. So I've already put it into a box form. I put some metal tape around it to hold the box together nice and neatly. Not to mention these boxes are sharp, so the tape helps to protect my fingers. By the way, you got to be really careful. If you inadvertently cut yourself on one of these boxes, you may end up needing some stitches. So anyway, so here's the next trick. So now we have a rectangular box that's deep enough to put the magnet in, the 1 inch wide by 2 inches long. That magnet now will fit in here with the spacers. So now what you want to do is you don't want the magnet touching this. If the magnet touches this anywhere at all, this thing does not work. It's no good. Okay, so what you want to do on the bottom, this is mat board. It's really thin. I don't know what the dimensions is, the thickness, but 3 of these I've learned is 1/4 of an inch thick. Now I'm old school. I don't do anything in millimeters, so you can convert it all to millimeters. I don't even have a millimeter ruler. Probably should buy one. Okay, now we've got 3 on the bottom, so now it's going to be insulated from the back. Okay, now the next thing to do is do the side. So what we're going to do here is we're going to drop a few of these in here. Okay. Now what I did is I cut a whole bunch of these. I cut them 2 inches by 1 inch. Okay, bad idea. Do not cut them exactly the same size as the magnet. Make them a little bit smaller, like 1 3/4 inches by 3/4 inches wide. I goofed up making them perfect. It makes it a really tight, get these in here. Okay, so now I have this one too many there. Here we go. Now what I'm going to do here is now put the magnet in there. Now where's the magnet? There it is. Stuck to this. Okay. At this point, it's easier to do this if you go ahead and put the magnet in now. Now, this metal box is going to want to jerk the magnet out of your hand, so you got to kind of go slow and hold it tight. Okay, there you go. Okay, now we just want to fill the gap up top with more spacers. Okay. These spacers make and break it. As long as the magnet is isolated and at least 1/4 of an inch away from the top and the back, the sides is not as important, but the top and the back is very important. However, when I'm going to make 4 of these, I'm going to make these with utmost precision, and I'm going to have a 1/4 inch space all the way around using mu metal, so we'll cover all of our bases at once. And then you got to make sure this magnet is not touching the sides, because that's what it's doing right now. Get that back. Darn, that's hard to do. Stuck to the metal. There we go. Okay. So I just want to make sure it's not touching the metal. Flip it around and pull the magnet back down the other way. Okay. Stick a little piece in there. Get in there. See, my tolerances is just too tight. My dimensions, I didn't allow for enough slack. There we go. Okay. So a couple more spacers to make sure the space is filled. Okay. And there you go. That's it. That's all there is to this. So what you want to do after this is you want to add another 1/4 of an inch spacing all the way around on the sides. I don't have enough of these to use, so that's why I cut up a whole bunch of these tonight. And so what you're going to do is you're going to build a box, another box around this box that allows for 1/4 of an inch more of spacing. So, and you want to do that all the way around, and don't forget to leave spacing on the back for 1/4 of an inch spacing. Now, in previous videos, I used dead alkaline batteries. It turns out they may not even be necessary at all. They're just not needed. It's cute and all, and the effects are really awesome. But if you use mu metal, I've already tested it. I got these sheets, like I was saying earlier here, out of the VCR machine. If you watch the video I made last night, I put just 2 of these things, despite they're really, really close together. No magnetic field gets through it. So the batteries that I used in the previous videos on my previous stators, those batteries are just not necessary. I was just trying to use whatever was around the house to kill the magnetic flux or field in the back of the stator. So you just grab whatever you can in the moment. That's the only reason why I use those. Okay, so that's it. That's how the stators are built, the James Roney stators. So I have to build 4 of these. I'm going to build 4 of them with great precision. And the one thing that I've got to make sure that you all understand, this magnet is too close, way too close to this level here. It needs to be recessed back in there approximately about a ½ inch. So the reason being is that this flux loops around on top. It just does, and you don't want it looping around. So this needs to be deeper. This needs to be recessed in there further, about a ½ inch, like I said. The way these works to close with this video before I stop here for the night is pretty simple. I've made a few videos of it, but I'm going to repeat myself nonetheless, because not everybody sees all the videos. Let's pretend for a moment that this is a magnet, okay? And what happens is that if this was a fully working stator, actually I have one right here. Let me just grab it. Let's see here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what you see here is, you see how I've got that recess way back up in there? Can you see that? I got the recess back in there pretty darn far. Okay, right, maybe there. Okay, anyway. So, and let's see, and this is the top of the stator. Okay, so this is a raw magnet. There's no shielding over this, as you can see. So the magnetic field of the other magnet, as it approaches this on the wheel, it sees it. The attraction of this magnet to this magnet is very, very strong. Actually, let me get a real magnet here, because I want to demonstrate something to you here. Grab one off my magnet tree. Here we go. Okay. This is a real magnet. Right here. I've got some electrical tape on it. To show you it's a real magnet. Watch. See? Okay, so these are N42s, 2 inch by 1 inch by 1/4 inch. Okay, so, and there's one of these inside of this box that I built. Okay, now, what happens is, because there's no shielding over the front of this, see that? Yeah, everything's done in attraction mode. Okay, now I can feel the attraction going on. Yeah, ooh, okay. Let me re-tilt this here. Okay. So what's going on here is that as the magnet approaches this stator, you can feel real strong pull. I mean, it's really pulling hard right up there, okay? But once this goes over top and passes over the top, the counter pull back this way is very weak. The only counter pull is this magnet here to the metal inside of here. So the counter pull back here is very, very weak. But if you go to this side, it's really, really strong. So when you make one of these, you'll see what I'm talking about. So what happens is, when this is on the wheel, it gains a lot of speed. And as it gains the speed, the inertia takes it over top, takes it over top of the stator. And as it comes over the backside, it doesn't have the same equal counter attraction that there is on the front. So the attraction on the front is way, way more powerful than the attraction on the other side of the stator. I mean, there's just no comparison. So Newton's third law of attraction says that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. However, this technology and these metals, they just didn't exist 300 years ago when he, decided that everything had an equal and opposite reaction. And for the most part, it has held true. But if that was the case, one side here would not be more powerful and this side be less powerful. Less attraction versus greater attraction. So this creates an imbalance, is what I'm saying here. So this imbalance, when this magnet goes past, it doesn't get pulled back with the same force. So the energy or inertia that is gained here, not all of it is lost on the back side. Yes, some of it's lost, but not all of it. Nowhere near all of it. So then the next magnet comes in, and then the next magnet, and the next magnet. And so this process repeats itself. So what I've learned is that you have to do this in sets of like 1/4 of the way around the wheel. People say, why don't I just put the magnets all the way around the wheel? I can't explain it because I'm not a physicist. I'm just an amateur, just screwing around with magnets. This is not my expertise. My expertise is in electrical science. But here nor there. When you put magnets all the way around the wheel, everything comes to a screeching halt. I think it has something to do with closing the magnetic field, and there's no gap. And for lack of a better way to explain it, the flux field has no direction. And so the wheel just comes to a stop. It doesn't even move. As soon as I reopen a nice big gap on the wheel just takes off. I mean, it takes off. But it doesn't take off fast. That's something interesting I want you all to know. I don't know what's going on here. All these other videos we see on YouTube, which a lot of them are probably fake, of magnet motors, those go very, very, very fast. What's interesting about the way this works, there's no speed. It goes kind of fast, but not very fast. I mean, probably 4 revolutions a minute. I might be able to get that up to 12 or 16 revolutions a minute, but that is so slow for a motor. But what's awesome is that I've noticed that the design I've come up with has tremendous amounts of torque. That torque can be converted through a pulley system or a transmission system and can convert it over to high speed. And then on that axis will turn at a very high rate of speed. That in turn can be tied in to, what do you call it? I forgot what you call it, a magneto, and or alternator from a car, or eventually custom build all this stuff, and you do something really high quality that can be marketed for sale. But here nor there, that's what's going on here. My discovery doesn't have any speed. Maybe there's something I'm overlooking and we can get speed up, but there's no speed to this. But let me tell you, it's got a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque. And that much is for certain. So with that said, let me let you go. I'm tired. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself here and there. My memory's not like it used to be. I've often repeated myself over the years because I've not had the greatest of memory. And this is not my forte to make these videos, so I do my best. All right, that's it. So just make 4 of these for now, and make sure you make them exactly the way I told you to make them. And make sure there's space in 1/4 inch all the way around the magnet, all 5 sides. There's 5 sides to this. There's the back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The 6th side is the front. Be sure to leave the 6th side wide open. Simply build a box around this 3 times if you're using standard metal and you don't have access to mu metal. Build 3 boxes and make sure that you have a 1/4 inch space around the magnet, perfectly centered inside of the box. And each box thereafter that you build with more 1/4 inch space in it, make sure all of those boxes are equally spaced within each box. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, if you build this perfectly the way I just said it, this works beautifully. Get yourself some mu metal. I may already have some in my possession. I don't know. His stuff is kicking butt, but I'm going to go and see what I can buy online. Maybe get a higher grade quality of product, higher grade mu metal. Okay, that's it. That's all there is. That's all she wrote for now. I'll let you all go. Thank you for whoever picks this up at a later date. I do want to let you know this channel has definitely been shadow banned. I have I don't know, 12,000, 14,000, I forgot. It's a big number of people who follow this channel. Almost nobody now gets notices or notifications from YouTube about videos I put up. I think on average, uh, maybe 5%, maybe, in other words, for every 10,000 people I have, only about 200 to 300 people ever are notified of my videos. I think a lot of people are just finding them by accident. So I don't even think those are subscribers. And they did the same thing on Facebook. They took my channel on the group, Free Magnetic Energy. They they deep six that. Facebook has definitely deep six that. Um, we have almost 1,000 members there. I did a live transmission tonight, put other videos up. We're lucky if 5 to 10 people, 10 people, maybe 15, will ever be notified of those videos from the group. So that group is basically dead. And then I did an individual page on Facebook. It's dead. I mean, I'm lucky if 5 or 10 people see that. Same thing here on YouTube. Yet the other magnet channels all don't seem to be being targeted. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I do know that I believe the first video got banned because people thought my first channel got shut down because people thought it was fake. But during those 2.5 million views that I got initially, in the very, very beginning, some 6, 7 years ago, I think what happened was I drew a lot of attention to myself. And apparently, I feel that maybe some of the people who saw that went, hey, wait a minute. And whoever those people I believe saw my video have since followed my work, have made a point to shadow ban me and make sure that, short of just shutting my channel off, which means I'll just start another channel, they're just shadow banning me, which is hard to tell, if somebody's done that to you. But I looked into it and I can tell it. So anyway, that's it. That's all the news is fit to print for now. Who knows how many of you are going to see this? Won't be many. I'll be shocked if this video gets up over 500 views over the next few weeks. But now you know the secret behind my James Roney Stators. They are simple as can be. I want to leave this thought with you before I sign off. Albert Einstein never unraveled the secret behind gravity, the Earth's gravity. He never figured it out. So he's quoted in saying that the day gravity, the formula for gravity is figured out, he surmised that the formula will be so simplistic, it will account for why it has been overlooked for so long. The reason I bring this up is I believe that's what's happened here. I think the answer to this is just so simplistic. It accounts for why this has also been overlooked for so long. Because the one thing I do know, this does work. I just need to reassemble all of this, put it together. I can't go back to my old setup because I tore it all apart. I tore it apart to what do you call it? To strip it for newer parts, to build a newer working so-called magnet motor. And by the way, this is not perpetual energy. Whoever uses that word here, please leave. Your knowledge is very limited. Magnets wear out. At best, maybe this might, if I get this up and running and do so again, and it really runs, it probably will run for 50, maybe, if we're lucky, it'll run for 150 years. But then again, magnets degauss, so maybe it'll only run for 25 years. But if you can get a magnet generator to run for 25 to 35 years, and it easily powers your house, and on a much grander scale, you can do so many different things with it. You can put it on ships and submarines. Because remember, forget about generating electricity with this. Just put that out of your head for a moment. Just stop. This is so much bigger than trying to generate electricity. What I have tested shows that this has very serious torque to offer. That means if you were to do something like this on a grand scale, I mean using really huge magnets, they're like 16 inches across. We're talking about monster magnets, making a monster magnet engine, as long as providing that what I'm doing here really is going to work. It looks like it's going to. In fact, I had it working before. Just don't know why I didn't get back to it sooner. Life's journey took me away, and I'm sorry. But on a grand scale, the way this works, I can tell it has enough torque to power ships. You won't be using this in a motorboat. It's not going to work. But in big ocean-going ships, and even submarines, this would work beautifully and quietly, because with magnetic suspension bearings, you can make this big, long magnetic motor, make it like 25, 35 feet long, like they are in submarines and ships, or even bigger. Some of them are 100 feet long. You put one of these in there, it'll definitely push the ship across the ocean. It'll definitely push a big railroad car full of probably 100 trains, 100 cars behind it, more likely to power it down the track. So this is bigger than just trying to generate electricity here. You also could put this in the back trunk of a car, an electric car, and when you go to pull in to eat your hamburger or whatever, or retire for the night on a trip, it'll be running in your trunk, and it'll keep your batteries charged, your electric batteries for your electric car. I don't know if we can ever make this put out enough electricity to keep up with the demands of an electric car. That might be possible, but I have my doubts. So if the batteries get low, and it makes it so instead of a car only making it 100 miles, now the car can make it 150 miles. Then you go in for a nice long lunch, and then you come back out and you find you can drive another 50 miles maybe. But who knows? It's like the one combustion engine that was designed 200 years ago. Now look at it today. We got race cars. We got fantastic combustion engines. So who knows where this will go 100 years from now, as long as it works. And so far on my end, it is working. And I'm going to prove that to you. So let me let you go. This is not a fake video. And please, don't leave me degrading marks. I'm tired of that stuff. Please, just spare me, if you would. Just watch and see what happens. Make this yourself. Go ahead, get your hands dirty. Stop telling me that I'm faking all this stuff. Make it yourself, and you'll see it works. Other people have replicated my stuff, and it works for them. All right, I'm gone. Sorry, I'm just frustrated. I wish I never got involved in this, but I'm glad I did in the long run, especially if I'm going to end up making any real history here. Hey, maybe in the end this isn't never going to work. Maybe whatever I did in the past, I may not get it exactly right ever again. But I've experimented since then, and it seems like I can get this to work again with no problem. Alrighty, enough talk, enough jibber jabbering. Sorry. I'm just trying to talk to you like you were here in my room having a one-sided conversation. Anyway, I'm tired, so it makes me a little ditzy. All right, thank you for your time, guys. Y'all take care now. Don't see how to turn this off. There's no stop command. Interesting. How do you stop this? I've never done a live stream on YouTube, just Facebook.